Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Unlock Show. I'm Tracy Wilson, and I'm your host for today and every day when you're on The Unlock Show, of course, unless I have a little stand-in, which might happen from time to time. But hey, welcome to today. It's Friday here in Australia, and it's a little bit of a dull day today, and this week I've been battling a cold, so I'm glad that for episode on Wednesday and also for today, I've managed to be able to get enough voice to be able to do it. So I want to let you know now, hopefully, coughing fits and sneezing will stay away for at least the next half an hour. Anyway, I'm always pleased to be here, and I'm so pleased that you guys are here with me too. Today's show, I want to talk about this: when niching down makes no sense at all, and also the three-letter word that you must embrace. So the reason that I wanted to talk about this, and over the last few days, I've been sort of delving into some of my, I suppose you'd call it, vault of things that I have that a lot of people, even in our team, don't even realize that, experiences that I've had, things that I've done, things that I've created. So I'm kind of delving into a lot of that stuff and pulling it out. And it's really made me think about, a few different things and how I can obviously best serve you. So today I wanted to talk about when niching down makes no sense at all. The reason I want to talk about this is because it is something that you've probably heard over and over and over again, is you must find your niche. Get a niche, really dive down deep into that, and that's the key to getting you started. And I want to talk about why I think that is not the way to go, particularly if you are starting out. And obviously, I've done this from experience because I didn't niche down to the degree that I certainly do now when I was first starting out. So let's delve into that, and hopefully I can give you guys some experience, share my experiences, my knowledge with you to help you kind of navigate that and determine when it does actually make sense for you to niche down. The other thing is that often, as we're thinking about our business and you're hearing, the gurus and people say, you've got to niche down. Often we're sort of thinking that through and we're going, man, that just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like I'm going to be taking a whole lot of, money off the table, people out of my potential audience if I do that. So I want to explore that and give you some, I suppose, insight into why we actually should do it and when the right time is to kind of niche down and get really specific on what you're doing and what you're going to be about and how you can claim that space and be the champion of it. So as per normal, we're watching this inside of the Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life Facebook group. So if you're not currently with me inside of that group, I would highly recommend you get on over there. All of our shows, we have a number of shows that are brought to you by experts in their respective fields, and all of our shows are brought to you by the Metadime Network. So get yourself on over to the Facebook and find our group. Success Secrets for Business, Family and Life. This is also being streamed right now live across multiple channels. So you might be seeing me right now in YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever that platform is, or listening to this after the fact on the podcast. So if you want to engage with me today, all you need to do, it's real simple. You can just type, if you're on Facebook, type into the chat box and I'll actually get your messages here. So, need a little bit of loving today, guys, to make sure that I can get through this. So, shout out to me, let me know who you are, where you're dialing in today. And I would love to hear from you guys and know that you're all there. So the second thing that I am going to pull up is this. I've got a few little, I always have these little banners that I share. They are shareable, so you can certainly take them and utilize them across your social platforms if you want. And like with the vast majority of my shows, I have giveaways. Today is one of those shows where I'm going to give you something at the end of the show that is going to help you thrive in your business. And what I'm going to give you is going to enable you to really, look at your customer avatar, niche down, and just spend some time really determining what type of clientele you want to be working with. So that's going to be the giveaway from the show today, and you need to be inside of the Success Secrets group to get your hands on that, and I'll make sure that it is available for you later on this afternoon. So let's kick into this. Sometimes, like I said, it makes no sense at all to niche down, and I remember when I first started out in business, and I can remember I went away and I did some work with another lady initially, sort of finding my feet, getting my straps, working out what is it that I wanted to do and learning from her. And I worked for her for like 2 years for free, basically used a lot of my redundancy money to keep us going. And I did what we would call an internship with her to really understand the coaching, consulting, and this online space. And then after a while, I decided, hey, you know what? It's time for me to kind of spread my wings and go out and do my own thing. Or I have to bite the bullet. And, I had a choice to make at that point, which was bite the bullet, go out and do something of your own, or go back and get a real job, which is at 9 to 5. And I would have had to have gone back with my tail between my legs and asked my old boss for a job back. So that particular Christmas, I can remember we'd recently moved house. We brought a house for my mum and dad, and we'd recently moved into it, and we were renovating it for them. And it was all kind of to do with all of these things were happening all at the same time. Moved from a really big place into this teeny weeny little house with all of our kids, and just trying to navigate a new business, and what was that going to look like, and was I better off to go and get a job or to actually start something myself? I remember laying on the couch over the Christmas break, really contemplating this and thinking, what do I really want to do? And I just knew that, having my own business was the thing that I wanted to do, but I really didn't know exactly what that was going to look like. But I knew I had to make a decision at that time. I had a choice to make: go get a job or carry on and continue down this entrepreneurial path. And I picked up this book, which was Napoleon Hill's book, right? So it was like, and now that, got a cold. Now the name of the book's completely left my brain. So I picked up the book of Napoleon Hill and I started reading. This book, and it was like, wow, I need to, I really am feeling compelled to actually do something with my life, and I need to make a change, and I really need to move forward and create my own business. And I stayed up night after night after night thinking about what would my business be like, what was my what was my background, how could I bring the skills and knowledge that I had into something that I wanted to create. And I knew that by working with this, I knew that when I was working with the other coach, that I realized that the small business owners that I were working with needed a whole lot more than just coaching. They needed help. Like I've talked about the 5 key things that, the 5 key reasons that businesses fail before. And that's that whole piece of research that I did at that time when I looked at my skills, the knowledge that I had. Then when it went and started doing a bit of research, thank you, it's Think and Grow Rich. Thanks very much, Scott. I knew someone would know it. So I started doing some research on more about why did businesses fail? Why was this the case? And I coupled that with the experience that I had with banking, and also the experience that I then gained through working with this other coach. And I realized that businesses needed more than business coaching. They actually needed help across a number of different things. This was my idea and concept at the time. And I sat up night after night trying to come up with what was my brand, what was the concept going to be. And I landed on Business Beyond 5. What did Business Beyond 5 mean to me at that time? It was like, I knew that if I could help businesses overcome all the challenges and the obstacles that they had to face in the first 5 years of business, and I could get them over that hump and get them to their 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th year of business, they were more likely to succeed long term. And if you look at the statistical data, that is true. So, most businesses fail in their first 12 months. If you can get past 5 years, you're going to be doing pretty well. So right now, guys, just think about that. How long have you been in business? Let me know in the chat, and how long you've been, doing the current business you're in right now, or multiple businesses, been in business or an entrepreneur for how many years. So I knew this was the case. So when I created my business, I actually created it very, very broad. And I did that for a reason. I knew that there were businesses that needed help in multiple spaces. So I started creating this business model that was not only business coaching, but also encompassed marketing, and it encompassed the finance piece, which was like bookkeeping and, helping them understand their books and what the numbers in their business was actually telling them. So after I realized that this was the case, and I put that out to the market, lots of people were coming to me because they were like, wow, I can come to you and I can get all of these things. You're like a one-stop shop to me. And I was like, yeah. So over time, because I did that, it actually made me more appealing to a lot more of my business clients, because I had the breadth of knowledge and the skill set to be able to offer them different things in a multiple, in multiple different areas. They didn't have to go to me for one thing, somebody else for something else, and somebody else for something else. So that was actually a really good move for me right from the outset. So hence the reason that I'm saying sometimes niching down right at the beginning is sometimes not always the right way to go. And the other reason for that is when you can be a little bit broad, you get to play with lots of different things. You get to broaden your skill set. You get to understand other, facets of business that perhaps you wouldn't have had exposure to had you niched too soon, had you got really, really specific and become, only a one-trick wonder. That they'll often talk about, being a jack or Jill of all trades and being a master of none. You can also be the flip side of that. You can be a one-trick wonder, and that's all you know. So I think there is, real merit in sometimes going wide. And then once you've gone wide and you've got, the skill set and a bunch of knowledge, and you've also then had an opportunity to experience different things and determine what are the things that I actually enjoy doing. Because right from the beginning, when you come up with this, fantastic idea, I'm going to niche down and I'm only going to do that, you might find that you don't particularly enjoy that. And by having a lot of experience, you've then been able to go, okay, well, actually, I thought I really enjoyed this, but now that I've dabbled in here and now that I've, got a lot more experience here, actually, that's the part that I enjoy. So same as if we were, when I'm talking with my kids, and today is a bit of a monumental day for us in the Wilson household, and my youngest son is moving out. So we are becoming empty nesters. So it makes sense to kind of talk about this too today. But, when I'm talking with my kids, when they were 12 years old, we're not talking about them, hey, what are you going to do when you grow up? I want you to choose something now, because when you get to university, I'll only want you to, focus on that. No, my conversations with them were, I want you to do lots of things, try lots of sports, do lots of, try lots of different things at school, because then they get to go out and they get a much more broader range of experience, and they then can determine what they want to do. And I can tell you right now that not one of them is doing what they thought they would do when they were at school. They're all doing, completely different jobs. They've traveled and experienced lots of different things, and it meant that they could come home and actually choose what they enjoy doing, and all of them go to work enjoying what they do. So there is a real, I suppose, correlation between that and us in business. So then as time goes on, as you start to play in different areas, you get your skill set up. You then can start to decide, well, what do I want to niche down in? And what I've done is actually niche down with various different businesses. So I don't just have one. You might have one company that has multiple different products and brands within it, but you then are able to pivot and have multiple things going at once. That has made absolute sense for me, and it's always held me in good stead. And it means that I've got, you can create these multiple streams of income and be able to switch one thing off and, turn the dial up on one thing, turn the dial down on another when you need to, if economic situations like now arise. You've got different things that you can kind of start to play with. So that's sort of a bit of a story about my background and why I've certainly felt that niching down right from the get-go wasn't the right thing to do. And to be honest, I didn't really know a lot about it at that time. It wasn't until I got further and further into business and I started doing a lot more research, listening to lots of different people, that even the concept of niching down and finding your client, your dream client avatar, was even something that meant anything to me, that I was exposed to. So we're going to get to that. We're going to get to the point where, creating your niche market and getting really specific with who you're going to work with and who your avatar is, that is going to become extremely important. And you do need to do that. But if you are a startup entrepreneur, my advice is to kind of give everything a go. The key to a lot of this stuff is these things. So I'm just going to pull these up. The first one is this 3-letter word. Let me find it. It's this, right? So it's this 3-letter word. that you must know, that you must understand that 3-letter word, because it opens up so many different doors. That 3-letter word is yes. So when you're starting out, again, lots of people will tell you need to learn how to say no. You need to learn to say no, 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 and shut down a lot of things, because you're going to get distracted. My advice is say yes. Say yes to everything you can at the beginning. Again, that has held me in good stead. I've said yes to things even when I thought, holy crap, I'm not ready for that. An example of that is I've been, and this is something that I've recently been sharing with our team, and they didn't know about me. I've been a production manager on multiple sets for commercials and, and doing videos for various different types of products and services. So with that requires, organization, scripting, storyboarding, so on and so forth. Now, I never ever thought I had the experience to be able to do that. A banker just doesn't have exposure to that type of stuff. But when it came across came into my pathway, I was asked, can you do that? What did I say? The natural thing was, yeah, I can do that. Yep, we can figure that out. And I just went away and I figured out how to do it. So I want you to say, think about, before you say no, can you say yes? Because if you can say yes, this is all you need. You need to make sure that you say to yourself, I am resourceful. I am resourceful. The one thing that most people fall down on is that it's not about, we go, I can't do that because I don't have all the resources. I don't have cameras. I don't have, I don't know how to storyboard. I knew none of that, none of it, had no clue whatsoever, but I just said yes, but I just knew that I could back myself and I could be resourceful. And I used my resourcefulness to help me pull all of these, multi 6-figure projects off, like $140,000, $160,000 projects when I had absolutely no experience, but I knew that I had really good organizational skills. This is the other thing that absolutely matters when you're starting out. The more you can do this, the more that you can grow your network, the better. Your network matters. It matters at the beginning and it matters right the way through your entrepreneurial career, because the more people you can know, you can build relationships with, build good relationships with, the more opportunities you can actually say yes to with confidence, because you know that you can say yes and you then can go in. It's just then a matter of pulling in a team, having systems and processes to pull, whatever project off to make it happen. So I think those things are super important, is for you to say yes before you get to a point where you say, no, I'm not going to take that. No, I'm not going to take that. No, I'm not going to take that. That time will come, but initially you want to say yes to as many things as you can, so that like I said, you get the experience and the exposure, and you get an opportunity to really see, do I like the fit of this glove? And if you do, then you might actually end up niching right down into, film production, or, working with in marketing, on online marketing, or whatever the case may be, because you've given yourself the room and allowed more opportunities to flow to you. So that's always the mantra that I work with, is like, how can I say yes first before I say no? And then I can, make it a discerning and an informed decision about whether or not I want to continue to pursue the opportunity. And I use all of those skills and the experience that I've gained through the history that I've got to then niche down into other areas. Funnily enough, all of those little things, it's funny too, because over time you'll find that these things all come back to you. You'll find that, even though you're now, you've niched down, you'll probably find that the things when you were wide and you were doing lots of things are going to come back and really help you in whatever it is that you are doing. And believe it or not, your clients are going to have a whole lot of things that they, that they need help with, that if you're even able to give them a little bit of advice that's outside of, your scope, they appreciate that a lot. So anyway, that's a little bit of detail about, when I think niching down is not the right thing to do, and why you shouldn't do it too early. And then now let's get into, then when does niching down actually make sense? To me, niching down actually makes a lot of sense when you are really clear about what it is that you want to do. And I think this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs, again, get tripped up on, because they make a decision based on what can I make a lot of money from, what is the in thing right now, so on and so forth. So the first thing you want to do is, do you actually enjoy this thing? Do you really, really enjoy it? And then, does it solve a problem? And the answer probably is yes, because if you're enjoying it, it means that you're doing it regularly. It means that somebody's asking you to do stuff. So therefore, there would be a market for it. So if that is the case, you're then thinking about, well, what is the specific thing that I'm doing right now? For example, soon I will have a program that will teach women how to stand up, stand firm, and stand out in the world of business through creating their own online show. That is very, very specific. Would I have done that right from the get-go? No, but I can do that now, right? So these are the sorts of things that you can do. You're thinking about, what parts of my business do I really enjoy? Picking up that piece, niching down and getting very specific about what it is that you do, and getting really very, very clear on who your ideal client is. Who are the people that you're going to want to wake up in the morning and be excited to be speaking with, and excited to be helping? So the document that I'm going to give you is going to help you do that. So I'm going to do two things today. One is I'm going to give you a document. It's called like a niching down and helping you to really understand who your client avatar is. And I'll also record a video for you that will dive a little bit deeper into how you do that, so that you can follow along with me in completing the document. And also I'll give you a few more, pointers and guide you along the way to help you manage to get very clear on your client avatar. Because I know that this is, for those of you that are watching, you've probably been spinning your wheels at some point going, well, I don't know who I want, who should I work with? Who is my client avatar? What do they look like? What goals and values do they have? What are their challenges and what are their pain points? So it really is going to help you to unlock all of that. So today I wanted to talk about these things because it's super important to the core of what I've spoken about today, is like when it is not appropriate to or when it doesn't really make sense to niche down too soon. So we've talked about that. We've also talked about that beautiful 3-letter word that we should be using where we can. Yes, sometimes the response no is appropriate, but in most cases, we can find ways to say yes, 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 we can do that. And then we go away and we figure out how. And it's not your lack of resources that is going to hold you back. It will be your lack of resourcefulness. So grow your network, use your resourcefulness to find out how you can make things happen. And I can assure you that will hold you will hold you in good stead as you move forward in your business and in your entrepreneurial journey. So I'm going to wrap this up pretty quick because I need to go and get myself a drink before I do have a coughing fit today. And I want to say thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to be back next week. I've got some more guests, and it will be it'll be really interesting. I'm not going to tell you who they are. You'll have to come into the group and see me post about our special guest next week. And then, of course, I'll be back again next Friday talking about something, completely different. I always have giveaways to give to you guys. And I also want to let you know, if you want to be a guest on my show, if you'd like to be interviewed by me, you can absolutely apply to do that. I would love to have you guys on my show. Here's what you need to do. Head on over to the metadimeDigitalCo.com website. We'll get one of the guys to put it into the chat box today, and get yourself on over there and just make an application. Your application will go to Karen, who's our production manager, and she will determine whether or which show you want to be on, if it's mine or maybe it's Vicky's or even Scott's, or maybe you even want to have a show of your own. That's doable too. So get yourself on over there. I'd love to have you as a guest. Also, these shows are available via podcast. So if you also go to the Metadime website, you go to the Unlock show, you'll actually find all the podcasts there. So if you're finding that you're not able to get on these shows live, don't worry, we've got you covered. You can go and soon you'll be able to download our app, but you can also listen to them on the podcast. And of course, inside of the group in the video section, these videos are also there. So thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to being back here again next week. Hopefully I can kick this cold to the curb, and I will be back to my normal self, and I will be here sharing more stuff to help you live your life unlocked. Have an awesome weekend, and I'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye.